I can cause you to be buried this instant in one of my cellars, and no one will inquire for you." "I know it," St. Charles said, his voice resigned. "It would be prudent to do so," Vautrin continued. "But are you willing to do for me in Montsorel's house what Montsorel sent you to do here?" "I accept the offer," St. Charles said, his tone eager. "But what are the profits?" "All you can take," Vautrin replied. "From either party?" St. Charles asked, his greed resurfacing. "Certainly," Vautrin said. "You will send me by the person who accompanies you back all the deeds that relate to the de Langeac family. They must still be in your possession. In case Monsieur de Fresques marries Mademoiselle de Christoval, you cannot be their steward, but you shall receive 100,000 francs. You are dealing with exacting masters. Walk straight, and they will not betray you." "It is a bargain," St. Charles said, his voice resolute. Vautrin's tone was firm. "I will not ratify it until I have the document in hand. Until then, be careful." He rang the bell, and the household entered. "Attend Monsieur le Chevalier home, with all the respect due his high rank." To St. Charles, he pointed out Philosopher. "This man will accompany you." To Philosopher, he added, "Do not leave him." St. Charles's thoughts were defiant as he exited. "Once I get safe and sound out of their clutches, I will come down heavy on this nest of thieves." Vautrin's voice was mocking. "Monsieur le Chevalier, I am yours to command." Alone with Laforet, Vautrin's tone grew brisk. "Well, are you letting him go?" Laforet asked, his voice incredulous. "Unless he considers himself at liberty, what can we hope to learn from him?" Vautrin said, "I have given my instructions. He will be taught not to put ropes in the way of hangmen. When Philosopher brings for me the documents which this fellow is to hand him, they will be given to me, wherever I happen to be. But afterwards, will you spare his life?" Laforet asked, his tone wary. "You are always a little premature, my dear," Vautrin said, his voice smooth. "Have you forgotten how seriously the dead interfere with the peace of the living? Hush! I hear Raoul. Leave us to ourselves." Laforet exited, and Raoul de Fresques entered, his youthful beauty marred by a storm of emotions. Clad in the elegance befitting his fabricated status, he paced the room, his thoughts a tumult of despair and defiance. "After a glimpse of heaven, still to remain on earth, such is my fate," he thought. "I am a lost man, Vautrin, an infernal yet a kindly genius, a man who knows everything, and seems able to do everything, a man as harsh to others as he is good to me, a man who is inexplicable except by a supposition of witchcraft, a maternal providence, if I may so call him, is not after all the providence divine." Vautrin entered, now dressed as a stockbroker in a plain black peruke, blue coat, grey pantaloons, and black waistcoat, his transformation seamless. "Oh, I know what love is," Raoul continued, unaware of Vautrin's presence, "but I did not know what revenge was, until I felt I could not die before I had wreaked my vengeance on these two Montsorels." Vautrin's thoughts were alert. "He is in trouble." Aloud, he said, his voice gentle, "Raoul, my son, what ails you?" "Nothing ails me," Raoul replied, his tone curt. "Pray leave me." Vautrin's voice was soft but insistent. "Do you again repulse me? You abuse the right you have to ill-treat a friend. What are you thinking about?" "Nothing," Raoul said, his voice flat. Vautrin's tone grew firm, his insight piercing. "Nothing? Come, sir, do you think that he who has taught you that English coldness, under the veil of which men of worth would conceal their feelings, was not aware of the transparency which belongs to this cuirass of pride? Try concealment with others, but not with me. Dissimulation is more than a blunder, for in friendship a blunder is a crime." Raoul's voice trembled with frustration. To game no more, to come home tipsy no more, to shun the menagerie of the opera, to become serious, to study, to desire a position in life, this you call dissimulation. You are as yet but a poor diplomatist, Vautrin said, his voice laced with amusement. You will be a great one when you can deceive me. Raoul, you have made the mistake which I have taken most pains to save you from. My son, why did you not take women for what they are, creatures of inconsequence, made to enslave without being their slave, like a sentimental shepherd? But instead, my Lovelace has been conquered by a Clarissa. Ah, young people will strike against these idols a great many times before they discover them to be hollow. Is this a sermon? Raoul asked, his tone defiant. Vautrin's voice grew earnest, his passion for his protégé evident. What? Do you take me, who have trained your hand to the pistol, who have shown you how to draw the sword, have taught you not to dread the strongest labourer of the faubourg, who have done for your brains what I have done for your body, have set you above all men, and anointed you my king, do you take me for a dolt? Come, now, let us have a little more frankness. Raoul's voice trembled with accusation. Do you wish me to tell you what I was thinking? But no, that would be to accuse my benefactor. Your benefactor? Vautrin exclaimed, his tone indignant. You insult me. Do you think I have devoted to you my life, my blood, shown myself ready to kill, to assassinate your enemy, in order that I may receive that exorbitant interest called gratitude? Have I become an usurer of this kind? There are some men who would hang the weight of a benefit around your heart like a cannonball attached to the feet of, but let that pass. Such men I would crush as I would a worm, without thinking that I had committed homicide. No. I have asked you to adopt me as your father, that my heart may be to you what heaven is to the angels, a space where all is happiness and confidence, that you may tell me all your thoughts, even those which are evil. Speak, I shall understand everything, even an act of cowardice. Raoul's voice was a whisper, his oar tinged with fear. God and Satan must have conspired to cast this man of bronze. It is quite possible, Vautrin said, his tone enigmatic. I will tell you all, Raoul said, his resolve hardening. Very good, my son, let us sit down, Vautrin said, his voice warm. Raoul's voice trembled with emotion. You have been the cause to me of opprobrium and despair. Vautrin's face darkened, his voice rising with indignation. Where? When? Blood of a man! Who has wounded you? Who has proved false to you? Tell me the place, name the people, the wrath of Vautrin shall descend upon them. You can do nothing, Raoul said, his voice heavy with resignation. Vautrin's tone was incredulous. Child, there are two kinds of men who can do anything. And who are they? Raoul asked, his curiosity piqued. Kings, who are, or who ought to be, above the law, and this will give you pain, criminals, who are below it, Vautrin said, his voice low and menacing. What horrible mockery is this, Vautrin? Raoul exclaimed, his voice trembling. Vautrin's tone softened, his voice reassuring. Did you not say that God and the devil hobnob to cast me? Heavens, sir, you make me shudder. Raoul said, his voice raw with fear. Return to your seat. Calm yourself, my son, Vautrin said, his voice gentle but firm. You must not be astonished at anything if you wish to escape being an ordinary man. Raoul's voice was a plea, his confusion palpable. Am I in the hands of a demon, or of an angel? You have brought me up without debauching the generous instincts I feel within me, you have enlightened without dazzling me, you have given me the experience of the old, without depriving me of the graces of youth, but it is not with impunity that you have whetted the edge of my intellect, expanded my view, roused my perspicacity. Tell me, what is the source of your wealth? Is it an honorable one? Why do you forbid me to confess to you the sufferings of my childhood? Why have you given me the name of the village where you found me? Why do you prevent me from searching out my father and mother? Why do you bow me down under a load of falsehoods? An orphan may rouse the interest of people, an impostor, never. I live in a style which makes me an equal to the son of a duke or a peer. You have educated me well, without expense to the state. You have launched me into the empyrean of the world, and now they fling into my face the declaration that there are no longer such people as de Frescas in existence. I have been asked who my family are, and you have forbidden me to answer. I am at once a great nobleman and a pariah. I must swallow insults which would drive me to rend alive marquises and dukes. Rage fills my heart. I should like to fight 20 duels, and to die. Do you wish me to suffer any further insults? No more secrets for me. Prometheus of hell, either finish your work, or shatter it to pieces. Vautrin's eyes gleamed with admiration, his voice resonant with pride. Who could fail to respond with a glow of sympathy to this burst of youthful generosity? What flashes of courage blaze forth! It is inspiring to see sentiment at its full tide. You must be the son of a noble race. But, Raoul, let us come down to what I call plain reason. Ah! At last! Raoul exclaimed, his voice eager. You ask me for an account of my guardianship, Vautrin said, his tone calm but deliberate. Here it is. Raoul hesitated, his voice softening. But have I any right to ask this? Could I live without you? Silence, Vautrin said, his voice firm. You had nothing, I made you rich. You knew nothing, I have given you a good education. Oh! I have not yet done all for you. A father, all fathers give their life to their children, and as for me, happiness is a debt which I owe you. But is this really the cause of your gloom? There are here, in this casket, he pointed to a casket, a portrait, and certain letters. Often while reading the letters you sign as if. Then you know all. Raoul asked, his voice trembling. I know all, Vautrin said, his voice gentle. Are you not touched to the heart? To the heart, Raoul admitted, his voice raw. Vautrin's tone was chiding, his insight piercing. Oh fool! Love lives by treachery, friendship by confidence. And you must seek happiness in your own way. But have I the power? Raoul asked, his voice desperate. I will become a soldier, and, wherever the cannon roars, I will win a glorious name, or die. Indeed! Why should you? Vautrin said, his tone dismissive. You talk nonsense. You are too old to possess the power of understanding me, Raoul said, his voice bitter, and it is no use trying to explain. Vautrin's voice grew firm, his patience unwavering. Well, I will explain to you. You are in love with Inez de Cristoval, Princess d'Argos in her own right, daughter of a duke banished by King Ferdinand, an Andalusian who loves you and pleases me, not as a woman, but as a ravishing money box, whose eyes are the finest in the world, whose dowry is captivating, and who is the most delightful piece of cash, graceful and elegant as some black corvette with white sails which convoys the long-expected galleons of America, and yields all the joys of life, exactly like the fortune which is painted over the entrance of the lottery agencies. I approve of you here. You did wrong to fall in love, love will involve you in 1,000 follies, but I understand. Do not score me with such frightful sarcasms, Raoul pleaded, his voice trembling. Vautrin's tone softened, his voice teasing. See how quickly he feels his odor damped, and his hat wreathed in crepe. Raoul's voice was raw with despair. Yes. For it is impossible for the child flung by accident into the bosom of a fisher family at Alghero to become Prince of Argos, while to lose Inez is for me to die of grief. Vautrin's voice was resolute, his vision clear. An income of 12,000 francs, the title of prince, grandeur, and amassed wealth are not things to be contemplated with melancholy. If you love me, why do you mock me thus in the hour of my despair? Raoul asked, his voice breaking. And what is the cause of your despair? Vautrin asked, his tone probing. Raoul's voice trembled with anguish. The Duke and the Marquis have insulted me, in their own house, in her presence, and I have seen then all my hopes extinguished. The door of the Christoval mansion is closed upon me. I do not know why the Duchesse de Montsorel made me come and see her. For the last few days, she has manifested an interest in me which I do not understand. Vautrin's voice was calm, his knowledge absolute. And what brought you to the house of your rival? It seems you know all about it, Raoul said, his tone resigned. Yes, and many other things besides, Vautrin said. Is it true you desire Inez de Christoval? Then you can get over this present despondency. You are trifling with me, Raoul said, his voice heavy with doubt. Vautrin's tone was firm, his confidence unshakable. Look here, Raoul. The Christovals have shut their doors upon you. Well, tomorrow you shall be the accepted lover of the princess, and the Montsorels shall be turned away, Montsorels though they be. The sight of my distress has crazed you, Raoul said, his voice incredulous. Vautrin's eyes gleamed with conviction. What reason have you ever had for doubting my word? Did I not give you an Arabian horse, to drive mad with envy the foreign and native dandies of the Bois de Boulogne? Who paid your gambling debts? Who made provision for your excesses? Who gave you boots, you who once went barefoot? Raoul's voice trembled with gratitude. You, my friend, my father, my family. Vautrin's tone was warm, his sacrifice acknowledged. Many, many thanks. In those words is a recompense for all my sacrifices. But, alas! When once you become rich, a grandee of Spain, a part of the great world, you will forget me, a change of atmosphere brings a change of ideas, you will despise me, and you will be right in doing so. Raoul's voice was fervent, his awe palpable. Do I see before me a genie, a spirit materialized from the Arabian Nights? I question my own existence. But, my friend, my protector, I have no family. Vautrin's tone was triumphant, his vision grand. Well, we are making up a family for you at this very moment. The Louvre could not contain the portraits of your ancestors, they would overcrowd the quays. You rekindle all my hopes, Raoul said, his voice alight with possibility. Do you wish to obtain Inez? Vautrin asked, his tone probing. By any means possible. Raoul replied, his voice resolute. You will shrink from nothing. Vautrin pressed. Magic and hell will not intimidate you. Hell is nothing, if it yields me paradise, Raoul said, his voice fervent. Vautrin's voice was grim, his insight piercing. What is hell but the hulks and the convicts decorated by justice and the police with brandings and manacles, and driven on their course by that wretchedness from which they have no escape? Paradise is a fine house, sumptuous carriages, delightful women, and the prestige of rank. In this world, there exist two worlds. I put you in the fairest of them, I remain myself in the foulest, and if you remember me, it is all I ask of you. Raoul's voice trembled with awe. While you make me shudder with horror, you fill me with the frenzy of delight. Vautrin slapped him on the shoulder, his voice hearty. You are a child. His thoughts were cautious. Have I not said too much to him? He rang the bell, his movements brisk. Raoul's thoughts were a tumult of doubt and gratitude. There are moments when my inmost nature revolts from the acceptance of his benefits. When he put his hand on my shoulder, it was like a red-hot iron, and yet he has never done anything but good to me. He conceals from me the means, but the ends are all for me. What are you saying there? Vautrin asked, his voice sharp. Raoul's voice was resolute, his honor asserting itself. I am resolved to accept nothing, unless my honor. We will take care of your honor. Vautrin interrupted, his tone firm. Is it not I who have fostered your sense of honor? Have I ever compromised it? You must explain to me, Raoul began. I will explain nothing, Vautrin said, his voice final. Nothing? Raoul asked, his tone incredulous. Vautrin's voice was resolute, his vision clear. Did you not say, by any possible means? When Inez is once yours, does it matter what I have done, or who I am? You will take Inez away, you will travel. The Christoval family will protect the Prince of Arjos. To Laforet, who entered, he said, put some bottles of champagne on ice, your master is to be married, he bids farewell to bachelor life. His friends are invited. Go and seek his mistresses, if there are any left. All shall attend the wedding, a general turnout in full dress. Raoul's thoughts were a mix of fear and awe. His confidence terrifies me, but he is always right. Now for the dinner. Vautrin exclaimed, his voice jubilant. Now for the dinner, the others echoed, their voices rising in unison. Vautrin's tone was commanding, his vision festive. Do not take your pleasure gloomily, laugh for the last time, while liberty is still yours, I will order none but Spanish wines, for they are in fashion today. The room pulsed with the promise of revelry, but beneath the surface, the currents of Vautrin's schemes ran deep. Raoul, caught between love and vengeance, stood on the precipice of a future orchestrated by a man whose power was as terrifying as it was absolute. In this house of mirrors, where truth was a shadow and honor a fragile illusion, the stage was set for a reckoning that would test the limits of loyalty, ambition, and the human heart.